healthcare. The big news is Harry Reid is taking it upon himself to put the public option back in the bill that will be presented to the Senate. The big news last week was that we got a healthcare reform bill, so-called, out of committee, and it will now go to the House and Senate. We'll get something together. We'll have some kind of a vote. Well, Harry Reid, even though the most recent bill that passed out of the committee did not include a public option, is deciding to include one anyway. And here's what he had to say about it.
As we've gone through this process, I've concluded, with the support of the White House, Senators Dodd and Baucus, that the best way to move forward is include a public option with the opt-out provision for states. Under this concept, states will be able to determine whether the public option works well for them and will have the ability to opt out if they so choose. I believe that a public option can achieve the goal of bringing meaningful reform to our broken system. It will protect consumers, keep insurers honest.
Okay, so now he's going on. Fine. Harry Reid is putting this public option in, and he insists that part of the reason why is that it's widely supported by the public, which we've discussed. It is true. The public option is widely supported by the public. Take a listen.
Obviously, public option is something that's been talked about a lot. It's something I believe in. In state of Nevada, all the national polls show a wide majority of Americans support the public option. I think it's important that the matter that we work on from the Senate have a public option in it.
Okay. It's great that Harry Reid is deciding to do something. It's absolutely great he's taking it upon himself. It's absolutely great that he believes this public option, because people want it, that it should be in the bill, and I absolutely agree with that. However, is this real reform at this point? To me, the public option that would pass is a watered-down, very moderate or even conservative. It doesn't strike me at all as a radical liberal reform, as many are claiming that it is, that is giving the insurance companies essentially everything they wanted. If we compare where we started and the provisions that insurance companies themselves wanted in this bill that would protect their profits and their interests, what kind of a compromise is it when the insurance companies got everything they wanted? You know, I always thought, Lewis, that a good compromise leaves everybody unhappy, right? I don't know what the insurance companies are unhappy about. They get a ton of new clients, while in principle, the public option would not allow for and healthcare reform would not allow for keeping people out because of pre-existing conditions. The obesity clause will certainly open the door to that, because a lot of people that are obese would be obese because they either live in very low-income areas where it's harder to get affordable food other than McDonald's and Burger King. People that are obese because of underlying pre-existing conditions, which the bill may or may not include a waiver for. The insurance companies are getting everything they wanted in this healthcare reform. I don't know what kind of reform it is when the insurance companies get everything they want. I really don't.
Well, I don't think the insurance companies want anything to change.
But that's exactly what I mean.
Right.
So what about this is reform if the insurance companies are getting everything they want? That's exactly my point.
Well, I think this is just a small step in a good direction.
The incremental approach.
No other way to do it, it seems.
Well, people are complaining also that this is going to be opt-out instead of opt-in. I mean, to me, it just sounds like trolling for something to complain for. I mean, because you have to opt out, then there's something communist or socialist about it. Makes no sense to me, and it's really sad. I mean, to me, the liberal reform would be single payer, and that's what Barack Obama should have started with from the first day. Barack Obama should have said, "I support single payer. I believe single payer is the solution, and I may be willing to consider some kind of public option." Rather than setting the boundary at what I want is a public option, and what we'll end up getting is some crappy, terribly put together, watered down public option that will have benefit, I don't know, to some people, but not to many. I think Barack Obama has completely framed it wrong. I think the conservatives have successfully turned it around where the public option is liberal. Whereas to me, the public option is a moderate to conservative compromise from single payer.
I think trying to revamp the whole healthcare system into a single-payer system without doing anything in between would probably be too drastic, and I don't think it ever would have come to fruition.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be drastic and that it would have happened step one, but what I'm saying is if what we have is if we start by saying we want a public option and then it's negotiated back from that into this kind of watered down public option where insurance companies get what they want, and it's a public option that insurance companies can also be involved in this market, that's going to make it harder. I agree. The step one was never going to be single payer, but having set the top goal as a public option and getting a bad public option is going to make it much tougher than having set the goal as single payer and negotiating back from that, if you know what I mean.
Probably, yeah.
The opt-in, opt-out thing, I think it's complete BS. Is it that bad for states to have to opt out? Let's pass this thing. If you don't want it, you opt out. It doesn't have to be opt-in. There's nothing magical about opt-in or opt-out. This isn't an email marketing list where you have to double opt-in, right? This is a public option. This is healthcare. This is millions of people's lives across the country. All states will be in. If they want to go through the trouble of opting out, they can do that. And by the way, I think there's going to be people in all states who are going to want this public option. And I think maybe that's what some of the opt-inners are afraid of, which is that if we get this, it's going to be hard to opt out because there is going to be support for it. There will be people using it in every state.
True. But, as with any situation, I think there's going to be opposition on both sides. And I think in a lot of states, there will probably be more people who want to opt out than who would support it.
It's possible, but I agree that starting in and having to opt out
I agree. Definitely
makes more sense.
Every state in.